Well, hey guys, Rusty Old Crow here. Just thinking. I got this toy I got to review. It's not overly impressive. I have these opinions on them. They're not dark. They are what they are. They're simple because the figure's simple, right? But you know what's not simple is I'm trying to figure something out. How come everybody went ape shit crazy over the idea of copyright strikes and insta strikes and stealing from each other? But no one really gives a rat's ass about the hate speech coming out of someone if they've got a certain stance on a toy line that they disagree with. And the homophobia coming out of that person's mouth right now is actually really outdated and crossing a line. And I'm just like, I guess we just chalk it up to the heel character, right? But isn't that just as bad when we know we have a very diverse community out here collecting these toys? And hate speech, man, that's all it is. It's just hate speech. Huh. I wonder why that doesn't get the big reaction. Interesting. Anyways, let's get on with the reviews. Well, all right. As my cats are taking an interest in what we have here is Jinx, Kimberly Arashikage, the cousin of Storm Shadow. I will zoom in, guys. You know I'm moving, so anything that looks like it's going to be a set is a set, right? So what else do you do, right? Adapt and overcome. How you like my cat's tail? Move your ass, cat. But we'll just zoom in on Kim here, and less on my cat's ass. There you go, guys. So you'll see how I said in this video, I wanted to keep it simple, stupid, right? Simplicity was everything with this figure because honestly, this figure isn't all that impressive. Nor did I expect it to be. Jinx was always pretty direct, pretty simple. There wasn't a lot to her throughout my Joe experience as a kid. And there doesn't seem to be much going on there now besides just a solidly pretty little figure. And that's all I can really say about it. It's got great articulation. It's got all the things you would expect a very simple buck design to have going for it. So I'm just calling up her file card because you guys know on the tactical perspective, to me, the file card is the law. So I always pull it up from 3DJoes or yojo.com if I find them. Those are the two sources you often see me piping up the file cards from when I pull them up. And so I'll put up Jinx's file card now, and I'll tell you that Jinx back in the day, we didn't know her name was Kimberly Arashikage. I think it was revealed in the comics or in the movie, or perhaps just now. I have no idea. But back then, it was a top secret identity. Her primary specialty was intelligence, and her secondary was finance clerk of all things. So she would sit behind a computer and do the Joe Pay, and then go out on ninja missions. But she was born in Los Angeles, California, and it says Jinx studied and competed in 3 forms of martial arts from the time she was 7 until she graduated from Ryan War. Upon arriving in Japan for vacation, she discovered that her family had been ninjas for generations, and she was officially initiated into the clan. Jinx was recruited for the Joe team by Snake Eyes. Don't underestimate Jinx. She has been to the Secret Mountain and studied the 7 silent forms with the Blind Master. She has the eye that pierces, the iron hand, and the heart that waits. She can see through your deception, batter aside your defenses, and dazzle you with the strength of her will. I mean, really, it was kind of a generic card. It sounds like the plot of an 80s ninja movie for sure, but with a strong female lead. Does she match what we remember her back in the cartoon and everything like that? Not really. This is a modernized Jinx. As you can see from the side of the box, they've given her a shortened hair, and I like to think of her as a much prettier and much more feminine, but still deadly Vasquez from Aliens too. They're aliens, you know. Anybody ever confuse you for a man? No, they ever confuse you, you know. But just that hardened, tough, short hair to peel. But they've made Kimberly a bit more feminine than I feel Vasquez or whatever her name was in Aliens was. Nonetheless, I digress. I've got her on the spindle here, just as I do with all other things, but it just occurs to me, she has her removable blindfold on. I'm going to quickly just yank that off, and you guys know it's there. We'll allow that to go. I haven't gone over the box. The new designs of the box retain the artwork. Still draw your eyes to the features. This time it's 2 useful features. It's that gorgeous sleeve tattoo that they have, the flower orchid or whatever, and then the blindfold, which you just saw me remove. There's that side art, there's that front, there goes the painting, and basically everything else you remember just as useless as before. While I fix this, I'm just going to pause for a moment. And unpause, just to do a quick hand switch to show you that she does come with extra hands now. And now that I'm seeing this in the line more, I see it happening with the renders that we saw for Leatherneck. It seems, I think they're just going to load Joe's up with extra hands to call that the appeasement to the conversion artist market that they know is there for these toys. So, overall, I can't be disappointed with them being included if it didn't mean a raise in cost, and it doesn't seem to have affected the cost at this point. That tattoo is absolutely brilliant. It's a beautiful pink orchid over the standard faded black ink that we see, and it's very Asian in its feel, but not necessarily as intricate as what we would normally see, say, in a Asian syndicate movie where they're getting their clan ink done. It's not quite to that level, but it does incorporate a little bit of pink, which really draws that eye in and brings in that more femininity that I talked about to the character. You can see her face is a very simple design. She's neither raging nor happy nor flirtatious. She is in a mode. We'll just put that more in front and lower that so you can get a square look at that. It's a very simple facial design, elegant in its own ethnicity, really, but with that shortened hair, I think that was a disappointment to some and a shocker to others, and others, it made sense, you know. It was a good call to give her the shortened hair because it makes the secondary head of her masked version more explicable and not have a ponytail hanging out, which would hinder its design and posability. As this buck is right now with this head, we've got a lot of posability going on. There's not a problem with that with the character, and the extra hands help. Overall, the character and the body itself is very well designed. I like the bare shoulders. There's no hindrance to the butterfly. You can get a lot of good poses as I fling her weapon out of her hands there. I'm not quite remembering what this thing is called anymore. But yeah, Very simple, but again, she's got that magic sheath for her katana because there's no strap going across to hold it up there. I kind of wish they had gone for a hip mount on that because this was a modernized version. And they did modernize it. They shrunk that dragon right down and put it over the breast of the gi, which is no longer the potato sack ninja outfit she was wearing in the 80s. You'll get that probably someday in the retro line with the same weapon she's carrying now, but perhaps something other than the katana, because she is capable of carrying other weapons, as we've seen later in the line. She does get kamas and other things and other variants of her. The figure itself, I keep coming back to, the figure is absolutely fine. I have no issues with this figure. It does have a visual appeal that I do like, and I'll pause it again now to put that mask on so you can see that it looks well with the figure. And there she is with the mask. So you can see they've really captured those eyes. Very nice, very well done facial painting underneath that very small little area. And you can even see the way the light captures the wrinkles in the top of the mask where her hair would kind of affect the fit. You can see some of those fold lines along the top. Very, very well done with the mask. And I've got lots of little soft goods I think I might add to this to switch it up a little bit, because the one thing going for this character is it very much followed the KISS rule, the keep it simple, stupid. Let's talk about that.
Yes, keep it simple, stupid, the KISS rule. First, it helps you keep everything calm and relaxed. It can apply to our expectations as a consumer waiting for a favorite figure, just as well as it can apply to the expectations of a design department on how to keep a figure uncomplicated, easy to do, and ready to go quickly. And as robbed as I might feel as the consumer hoping for the next epic figure out of the line with Jinx, I have to understand that there was never a requirement to make her anything more than she ever was, a simple female ninja. Technically, one could say that a lot of focus was given to the head of Jinx, both by giving her the mask that we were used to seeing her in from the 80s line in the original debut, and by giving her the unmasked version with the short black hair, the palatable, if not pretty, face, and the blindfold feature, all of which were not incorporated in the original Jinx design. So simple, yet you can see there was care given. And without that care, one might have overlooked, including things like the choker that is around her neck, a removable two-color piece of black and gold. Very simple to forget that that is a separate piece entirely and not molded into the neck. Still, these two head options are a perfect example of keeping things simple. With the masked version, you have two tails that are coming off that mask. But with the head, you have just the attachable blindfold. None of these involve a long, unnecessary new hair sculpt of black, long hair just to give the character some new sense. They've accomplished this very simply. One could also appreciate the change to the gi over her, like I said before, potato sack ninja outfit. As you can see on the scrolling thing, I forgot to bring a standing base for her, and it's very hard to get her to balance on that little rickety one. I've got to replace that someday. Nonetheless, the gi, I think, was a good choice for this sculpt. And I say good choices, and they kept it honorable about it. They didn't leave it too sexualizing of the character by leaving it open, and I'm sure there's people that would have loved that. You see some of the way fan art is about Jinx and her stuff, but they shortened those sleeves to expose that beautiful sleeve tattoo that the creative team decided this character needed to have, because while she is simple, there was something not unique about her until that tattoo came and that extra head idea. You would just have a female red ninja, just as you had a pair of male and female blue ninjas, right? I like the black gloves. I like them that there are wraps on here. And overall, just having done the head, neck, shoulders, arms, we can talk about how the dragon brand has now been shrunk down to just her left breast as opposed to the center of her uniform like it was in the 80s. But we can see how these changes that they've made for this are, in fact, simple. And I feel like I have to step out of my role as a consumer to appreciate where that could be advantageous to a design team who are working on multiple projects at a time, where sometimes the team needs a figure that could be considered the lowest priority for a lot of problem solving. And Jinx represented that well, I think. I think they had a very basic design and an open market to just kind of add a couple of features that would make her more unique, modernized into the classified line, give them room to do a retro, please the waiting fans, and display a bit of talent, but not go hard into it, not need to make this a deluxe. You can see they've even added the darker red stripe down the side of her gi uniform. It's a more of an oxblood stripe. At first you would think that was a shadow, but it's actually a stripe that goes down. All these things give them room for later to do more things with the retro and to bring back the character as you remember her. And everything about this figure feels like it's all new. From head to toe, there's no feel of reuse here. You might think that that was Akiko's legs or Blue Ninja's legs or anybody's lower body from previous in the line, and I think you'd be mistaken. This appears to be an entirely new sculpt down to the feet. So that may not be as simple as just saying, well, it's an easy one color kind of character if the new sculpt is there. You know, you have to come up with something. So the question becomes, when will we see this reused? Well, we do know that eventually Jinx ends up in Tiger Force, and we'll probably see a Night Force variant, and we'll probably see another female character down the line in Classified that may use some of Jinx's parts for sure. So in that sense, the simplicity involved might be in making the decision to make more parts available for future characters down the line, in getting Jinx out of the way right now and making her a completely new sculpt. One might think that. But on the other hand, I could also say that while that new body sculpt and everything was fine, where they did skimp out was on the kit loadout. To have a new two-handed weapon is fine, but I'm trying to picture where I might see this again down the line, and it has to step within the Asian boundaries of ninjas, really. So I almost feel like that thing should have had more function. Maybe it was an assembly staff or something. What I'm trying to get at is I feel the kit is far too simple for this character. There is nothing complicated or interesting about the two weapons she comes with. She comes with a bakshi standard katana blade. There is nothing epic or outstanding about this. In fact, this is the same sheath and katana that comes on the $5 variants of the Snake Eyes toys that they're not classified. They're a lower grade toy. You can get those sheaths in there, and it has no strap to show how it is attached on. It's just another thoughtless put it in the hole on their back kind of approach. Nothing impressive about the katana. Same as her spear, while it is iconic and traditional to her character from back in the original debut in the 80s, and I respect that, with no function or purpose besides just being a single piece of plastic painted and recognizable. It's uninteresting in a way. It's just there for the character itself and for the weapon, I understand, and it's a long reach weapon, so it's got that practical purpose I have to appreciate from a tactical sense. But at the same time, it just shows there was no complexities to this character as Hasbro wanted to approach it beyond paint it up real pretty. Just make it real pretty and then relax. Everybody breathe. Everybody relax. Jinx is done. We kept it simple. Don't you guys feel better? It's simple. So simple, I feel ready to give the grade now. On a tactical grading, I have to give it a 3.5. She has a katana. She has her blade. She has iconic tattoos that make her not at all anonymous as a ninja. She is very much recognizable in this uniform. Maybe that's the point. She is Storm Shadow's cousin after all. But as far as the sense of secrecy and blending into the shadows as a ninja would, I don't see that with her red costume and her exposed arms or all of it. It just, ninjas just have their place, and you can't solidly give her a whole lot because she has the two weapons and they were clearly very boring weapons. So I'm penalizing them on the tactical sense for giving me such dull weapons when such interesting ones were out there. Look how cheap that katana sheath is. It's just cheap. I'm sorry, it is. Look at it with its little stinky water hole. My God. So yeah, I'm going to go with the 3.5 on the tack. I just don't feel like there's enough there for her to be a threat or to be really an effective ninja, per se. Definitely a cool martial artist character, for sure. On the play grade, I'll give her a generous 3.5 again, because the blindfold is there. There's storytelling in here. Her normal spear is there, and she is a very articulate character. She has fists and she has open hands, so you can do things with the posing for sure. And she has the two head features. But again, just not a whole lot going on for play beyond posing her here and just being a big red pretty ninja. So I got 3.5 on that play factor. There's only so much going on here, I'm afraid. But I too can keep things simple, and I can appreciate simple. And maybe simple was necessary with Jinx, and maybe I'm being overly critical. A critic does that, guys. A critic can say bad things, but they often say good things. If your critics are always saying bad things and then telling you that you are a whatever, if you disagree, maybe think about that. There's a lot of weird shit going on right now coming out of a certain corner of this YouTube department, wherein disagreeing with them appears to make us all lesser of people. And honestly, the comparatives are rooted in hate speech and homophobia and all sorts of dated 1990s perspective that I thought we left in the dust. I only mention it because we have so many people here that when they hear that kind of stuff, you know, it just feels wrong. So you're not going to hear it here. I don't like this figure, but there are aspects of it that I do like. It's just that it's too damn simple. But on that creativity note, I've got to give it a 4. The 4 coming just from they modernized this pretty well. They just modernized a basic fig. But I can appreciate the amount of effort it came into how to modernize it sensibly, using a gi, moving that dragon, having 2 shades of red subtly put in there, the contrast of the black to the red, where the color balances lie, throwing in just that little speck of gold, some pink to the lips, some pink to the tattoo. You know, like, there was an effort put in here. That je ne sais quoi factor, that artistic twist, that modernizing third factor that I throw into this, I've got to give it a higher one. I'd say it's high as in a 4 to a 4.5. But again, it's making a bigger deal out of a character's image than it was about what the character's possibilities are when they modernize it from an original. I feel they fell short on Jinx just in the kit alone. I feel like there should have been more to this, but I don't have to get upset about it. I don't have to rant at them about it. Everybody needed a break, I guess. Maybe this is what a figure needed to look like in order for other figures in this line, like Doc or Torch or whoever, to get the extra focus they needed to be exceptional figures. I don't know. I'll find out soon enough when I have them in my hand. But keep it simple, stupid. That's my review on Jinx today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Thanks for understanding the tactical perspectives. Hiatus of late with all the moves and whatnot, but you can expect to see another review coming up soon on Night Force Ram with Shockwave. And if you haven't already seen it, I have uploaded my new Serpentor video where I talk about why Serpentor is very relevant right now, in my opinion. Make sure you check that out, and thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.